Microphone. Off. Stop recording. Button. Selected. Screen recording. Button. Files. Utility. Tick. Set. Face. Club. Voice. Gmail. Telegram. Cover. Fear. Red Riding Hood. Double tap to open. Red Riding Hood. Direct touch area.
Blind
Use the loader to enable
Foundation
direct touch
New
for this app.
Zealand. Sonar Interactive. Twisted Tales. Red Riding Hood.
Info. Button. Info. Play store. Play story. Info. Settings. Share. Checkpoint. Play story. Button. Extras. More story. Button. More story. Extras. Play story. Checkpoint. Share. Settings. Info. 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 Button. Info. Button. Play story. Button. Info. Play story. Button. Double tap to select. Back. Button. Play as red. Back. Button. Back. Set. Red. Check.
Once
Fast
upon a
forward. Button.
time,
Fast
there was a
forward.
little
Button.
girl
Double tap
who
to select.
lived on the edge of a forest.
Eat some of the food. Take the food to Grandma.
Checkpoint. Pause button. Rewind. But take the food to Grandma.
Red Riding Hood was cross with herself. Her grandma was sick and needed good food. She shouldn't have even thought of eating it herself. She picked up the basket and carried on down the path.
Hello, little girl.
Oh, you startled me.
And
Check.
what's
Fast
your
forward. Button.
name,
Fast forward. Button.
my
Double
pretty
tap to
one?
select.
I can't tell you. Go and pick flowers. Refuse to pick flowers.
Checkpoint. Pause button. Rewind. But refuse to pick flowers.
No, I'm sorry, Mr. Wolf. I'm sure you mean well, but Mother said I must stick to the path, so that's what I'm going to do.
Well, if you don't want your grandma to be happy, that's your choice. I'll be on my way.
The wolf ran off down the path in the direction of Grandma's house. Red Riding Hood was uneasy, so she walked more quickly. She soon arrived at her grandmother's cottage. It looked just as she remembered. Whitewashed walls, pretty blue window frames, flowers in pots outside. But something was wrong. It was quiet. Too quiet. Where was the birdsong? Where was her grandma's happy humming as she made her
Fast
jam?
forward. Button. Checkpoint.
Red
Pause button.
Riding Hood
Rewind.
swallowed
Button. Red Riding Hood.
nervously
To go back to previous.
and
Pause.
knocked
Check.
on the
Fast forward.
door.
Button. Double tap to select.
Come in, my dear.
That's odd.
Thought Red Riding Hood.
Grandma must have a cold. She sounds very hoarse.
When the door swung open and she stepped inside, things seemed even more odd. Grandma was wearing her usual floral dress with a frilly bonnet tied round her head. But her nose had grown surprisingly long. Her eyes were dark and fierce. Her breath smelt of meat instead of strawberries.
Fast forward.
And she had
Button.
clear...
Ask Grandma about her ears. Ask Grandma about her arms. Ask Grandma about her teeth.
Checkpoint.
Give
Pause
Grandma
button.
the basket.
Rewind. Give Grandma the basket. Ask Grandma about her teeth. Ask Grandma about her teeth.
Grandma, what big teeth you have!
All the better to eat you with. Ah!
The wolf tore off the clothes and leapt at Red Riding Hood. She only had a second to decide what to do.
Run away. Throw Pepper at the wolf.
Pause button. Rewind. Throw Pepper at the wolf.
Red Riding Hood dodged out of the way and rolled sideways. Scrabbling in the basket, she found the packet of pepper. She tore a hole in the side and threw it just as the wolf dived at her again. The wolf was no longer interested in Red Riding Hood. His eyes were streaming with tears and he was sneezing continuously. He appeared to be choking. Then he gave the biggest sneeze of all, and Grandma flew out of his mouth. The wolf raced out the door, still crying and sneezing. Red Riding Hood stared at her grandmother, lying on the floor. She quickly wiped the wolf goo from Grandma's face. There was a very slight movement in the old lady's chest, but as Red Riding Hood watched, the movement stopped. In desperation, she picked up some of the spilled pepper and sprinkled it under Grandma's nose. There was an agonizing pause. And then her grandmother sneezed loudly and began to breathe again. Red Riding Hood breathed a huge sigh of relief. When Grandma had recovered a bit, she fed her the ham, cheese, and bread. Grandma was so grateful she didn't even complain that there was no pepper to go with it. The end.
The end. Rewind. The end. Info. Button. Play story. Info. Button. Double tap to select. Play story. Back. Button. Double tap. Play as red. Button. Back. Play as red. Button. Back. Play as red. Play as wolf. Button. Double tap to select. Back. Button. Back. Button. Double tap to select. Set. Big. Rewind. Set. Share. Continue. Button. Double tap to select. Continue. Button. Check. Share. Set. Info. Button. Continue. Info. Button. Double tap to select. Play story. Button. Play story. Info. Button. Continue. Button. Continue. Button. Button. Double tap to select.
That was nice.
Rewind.
It's always lovely
Button.
to have
Double
a
tap to
little old
select.
lady for lunch. I'm feeling quite full now, but that doesn't mean I couldn't eat a bit more if the opportunity presented itself. In fact, a little girl for dessert would go down nicely. I suppose I'd better prepare
Pause button.
myself a bit.
Rewind. Button.
Red Riding
Pause
Hood
button.
wasn't
Checkpoint.
far
Button.
away when
Fast
I
forward.
passed her,
Fast
so
forward.
she
Button.
could be here
Double tap to select.
soon. She's hardly going to just walk in if a big bad wolf answers the door. And I'm too full to chase after her. I know. I'll disguise myself. I'll dress up as Grandma, and then she'll just walk right in. I know. Even dressed up, I'm still going to look like a wolf. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Red Riding Hood's not that bright. I think if she sees her grandmother's dress and bonnet, she'll just walk right in. Besides, I quite like the chance to dress up in women's clothes every so often. Ooh, so what do we have? Looks like the only choices are green or blue. To be honest,
Checkpoint.
I don't
Pause
think
button.
either of
Rewind.
them is
Big bad
really
wolf.
going to
To
go
go back to
with my
previous screen. Pause.
fur.
Check. Fast forward.
But one
Button.
has to make
Double tap to select.
sacrifices sometimes. Green it is. Come in, my dear.
Hello? Grandma?
Oh, bother this conscience. I'm having some doubts now. I do want to fit in, and in the nicer parts of society, eating grannies and little girls is considered to be quite bad manners. Confess that you're a wolf. Go ahead and eat her.
Checkpoint. Pause button. Rewind. But go ahead and eat her. Confess that you're a wolf. Big bad wolf. To go back to previous screen. Confess that you're a wolf.
Red Riding Hood, I'm afraid I have something to confess to you. I'm not really your grandmother. I'm actually a big bad wolf dressed up as your grandmother.
So, that explains the beard. I thought you had got a little hairy, but I didn't like to say. Wait a minute. What happened to Grandma?
Well, that is we, I don't really know how to put this.
Just spit it out.
Well, that's the point. I'm not sure I can.
Not sure you can what?
Spit her out.
Spit her out? You ate Grandma?
Well, yes.
You're a very naughty boy indeed.
Pause button.
Aren't
Rewind.
you?
Button. Big bad wolf. To go back to rewind. Button.
Well,
Double tap to
we'll
select.
just have to get her back. Ooh, yuck. That means I have to stick my fingers down your throat.
Oh, my great goodness. Oh,
Grandma, thank goodness you're all right. Now, I'm still cross with you for eating my grandma. But it turned out all right in the end. And you did the right thing by telling me what you'd done. So, if you promise not to eat any more people, I'll give you a tummy rub.
Oh, that worked out well. I do like having my tummy rubbed.
The end.
Pause button. Rewind. Button. The end. Info. Button. Double tap to select. Home. Red right. Screen recording in progress. Cellular. 2 of 4. AI. Done. 3. 1036. Orientation locked. Image. Control center. Set. Play. Right. Volume. Focus. Accept. Flashlight. Timer. Calculator. Camera. Code scanner. Selected. Sound recognition. Selected. Screen record.